Hey there everybody, Chris from the Old Man Cycling Show again with our next episode. Before we get started on this, let's take care of a little housekeeping. I really ask and appreciate if you would click on the subscribe button, and as well as when you get to the end of the video, if you like it, please click on that like button. And an additional bonus, if you click on the little bell icon next to subscribe, you'll be notified whenever I post new content. Now, with that said, we can get on with the show. So you may be wondering what the title of this show has anything in the world to do with cycling. Well, you're just going to have to watch to the end to find out. So with that said, enjoy the video, watch it, and remember to click on that subscribe when you're done. On with the show. Okay, so here's our 2004 Volvo V70. It's the 2.5 liter turbo engine, all-wheel drive. You can see right down there, that is the thermostat assembly housing, which I replaced. It was quite interesting. You can see over here, let me get my flashlight. You can see over here that the serpentine belt is still off. The fastener to releasing the tension on the tensioner pulley is down in there. It's very difficult to see. And a normal T60 Torx socket wrench does not fit on there. There's no space between this metal piece right there and the T60 Torx head itself. You can't get a wrench in there. So I'm going to be trying to get that onto the power steering pump now. You see I've removed the reservoir to try to give me a little bit more space to get my arm in there. It's all very tight down in here. But you know, basically what you had to do is you had to release the tensioner pulley to get the serpentine belt off of the power steering pump. Then there's 3 bolts within this wheel here that you release. You take the power steering pump out, the reservoir out, and you move it to the side, and that lets you probably can't see, but down underneath there is a T40 Torx on the bottom of that. Not that one, that's a T35, but there's one further in, right in the middle there, a T40, then the other T40 is up there. That's how you connect this assembly in there. And if you don't remove the power steering pump, it's not going to fit. It's impossible to get in. You have to take it apart and sort of put it in halves, and it doesn't work well. So I decided to just take it apart. Now you can also see here, I've taken this one hose off. Right here, I'll show you. And it has one of these like alligator compression clips. I have to get one of those clips for this hose, but I'm also going to see if I can get a new hose first. That hose goes on that nipple, and then you can see here's the other hose that goes into here. I have that replacement hose, and I have the rings for that. This is the right here. This is the clip that held that little hose on. Really a pain in the butt. It's not reusable once you remove it, so I have to get another one of these clips. And then last but not least, when I was draining the coolant, this here is the cheap plastic plug that holds the coolant together, and you can see it's snapped in half. So I have no way to seal this back up right now. I'm waiting for the Volvo dealership to call me and tell me they got the replacement plug in place. That plug is under here on this right side, and you'll see later I'll take it out. So right now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try a different approach to get this tensioner pulley loose. So I was trying this. It's way too thick. It doesn't fit in, you know, too thick from sorry about the camera jump around, too thick from this point to that point. It doesn't fit down in to get onto the bolt. I'm going to try to use a breaker bar instead, hoping that that's thinner and I can fit it in there. So give me a second to get that, and we'll give it another try. So I'm thinking this is going to work out pretty well. If I take my tape and I measure the length of the socket with the T60 Torx bit on the end, I come out to about 3.5 inches. And you can see down there, I have a light on. You can see that right there where the tape is pointing. That's the T60 Torx head that I'm trying to get to loosen the tensioner pulley. There's not that much space between this metal rail here and that Torx there. So I have my breaker bar. I can already tell the head is much narrower. This head is just over 1 inch, whereas this head is less than an inch, and I only need a little space. So let me switch the head around, then we'll see how much it is. Hold on. Okay, so I moved it onto my breaker bar, and you can see that we've saved about a 1/2 inch. So we're down to around 3 inches. So I think I'll be able to get that in there. Let me give that a shot now, and if I get it on there, I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So hold on. Oh man, that worked like a champ. So you can see down here that that's in the Torx, and this is how much space I have. So that 1/2 inch of saving using a breaker bar as opposed to anything else has made all the difference. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to pull on that bar. I'm going to try to loosen up this belt here to get it onto the pulley. So by pulling this bar this way, you can see that loosens the belt. So I should be able to get, see how that detentioner pulley is moving? That should give me enough room to get the serpentine belt back onto the power steering pump. So let me give that a shot. I can't hold and film at the same time. So hopefully I get it back on here, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so you can see here that the tensioner belt is back, a pulley is back in place, right? We have the crankshaft part of the serpentine belt coming back up over the top of that, the tensioner pulley around this power steering, back down through here to this side. That's the alternator down here. And then there's another pulley that takes it back over to the crankshaft. So it looks like the belt is all in place. It looks like it's in good shape. It should seat in a little bit more once the car runs. But from looking here, it looks like it's on okay. There was a little problem with down at the bottom when I first got it onto the power steering pump, that it did fall off of the alternator down there. But I think we're in good shape. So all should be good. Now I got to put the rest of the system back together, get my hoses and stuff. But man, that was a job. But really switching to that breaker bar and saving that 1/2 inch between this portion and this Torx bolt right in there made all the difference in the world. I would have never, I fought with that all day yesterday to get it off. It took me about an hour. Wish I would have thought of using a breaker bar sooner, but now we know. Lesson learned. So let me continue on here and get this zip back up. I'll show you more in a little bit. So again, this is what caused it all. Trying to get that thermostat assembly in there. Had to remove this power steering. The power steering pump to get access to here, especially the Torx bolts underneath. So now I'm going to button it back up. Wait for Volvo to give me a call because I'm waiting for the clamp for this hose, and we should be good to go. So that's that. Okay, we have our two hoses. This is the right one is the replacement hose, the left one is the old one. You can see that it was on there so long, I could not pry it off. I had to actually slice it and open it up to get it off. It was really, really stuck on there. So we're gonna put the hose from the top of the radiator there into the thermostat housing. So let me get that in place and I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so now you can see we've got that clamp on there, and now we're going to try to connect this harness back into here. It should just clip in. You can see, unfortunately, I did break the clip, but it should still lock in with that little tab there, which it did. You just heard it click. So that should be secure. Then the last thing we have to do is get the clip on for this hose and get this hose forced back onto that nipple down there, which should be fun if you can get my stubby fingers out of the way. See that? Let's see, if we do it this way, you can see the bronze type nipple. This hose has to go on there with one of those funky clips. And then next thing we're going to put this new hose onto here with the hose clamp. So I'll work on that next. Okay, so we're upside down here, but you can see I have the hose clamp in there. Where is it? Right there. And I have it set up to use the wrench. I've been using a little 7mm wrench. That's what I did for down there. Worked well. I can't really get a screwdriver in there. So I'm going to try to get the wrench on there and tighten it that way. So I'll get back to you when I've got that tightened. All right, so you can see the hose clamps on there, hose clamps on there, power steering reservoir is back in, serpentine belt is on. Last thing I have to do is connect, let's see, connect that little hose on the brass thing down there. Hopefully you can see it. I can't really see. Yeah, there it is there. Right down there. But got to get a clamp. I'm going to go underneath now and drop out the protector tray to show you where the drain plug goes. So give me a second, I'll get that on. Hold on. So you can see under the car, this is where the radiator plug broke off. You can see there's still some drippings. There's some drippings down that end. I want to try to take this plastic guard off. There is a bolt there. I don't see any more, and a bolt over there, and there's all these little plastic tabs which I think are just connected to the body. So I'm hoping that it's just these two bolts, one on this side, which you can see up there, and one on the side over there. And if I get those two off, I'm hoping I can get this whole front cover off and get easier access to that plug so I don't break it when I get the new one. So let's give that a shot. I'll be back on after I see if I have success. So you can see we got this front piece off. There's two clips in the front, one there and one on the other end, plus the two bolts on the side. The whole thing drops out. See, it's pretty gross. And if you look up in there, you can see it's pretty dirty as well. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. That's the lower radiator hose. I did not monkey with trying to replace that. I do have one, but and I'm going to clean it up and see if that's what's leaking. And then of course the drain plug, like I said, is right up there. I clean that area off as well so I can put that plug back in and have it all clean. I don't know if that's what's leaking. Looks pretty wet around here. I don't know if that's antifreeze or not. I do have that hose. Let me take a look at it and see if I can figure out if that's what's actually leaking or not. Because that hose looks like it's a bitch to replace. If I can see the other end. I can't see the other end yet. Let me go look up here real quick. Let me check up here. So that hose comes from way down below there. Down in there somewhere. I'm not sure where it actually goes to. Maybe I have to look at that from, if that's it over there. I ain't definitely not going after that thing. That could be it. Yeah, that looks like it's it over there. If that's the case, homie ain't playing that game. Guess I could get in there, but that looks like a mess. Let me just see if I can trace it up. So it's down there. I see it right there. Right? That's it down there. Yep. So that's the hose down there. It follows up along this path through there, to there, over to there. So I'm going to clean it up and see if that's what's leaking. If that's what's leaking, that's going to be a major, major, major pain to try to clean off. But let me get underneath, clean up, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're having some more fun. You can see in there, I've taken the lower radiator hose, decided to take it out because it was pretty chewed up. There it is down there. It's pretty destroyed. I had to remove the air cover so I could take that hose out of the way. I also took that clip off there. Gonna try to vacuum up. There's some mouse droppings and stuff in there. I don't know if you can see it. Gonna try to vacuum up before I put this hose back on and button this side up. So let me get to that and be back in a bit. Okay, you can see I got that bottom hose on finally. Looks good. Like I said, I'm waiting for the plug. I gotta go get one more clamp for the one upper hose. So I'll do that now. Hopefully Volvo will call me soon and tell me they have the clamp I need. So there you have your answer. This is why this old man cycling show was about car repair. Because this car is my trusty vehicle to get my bike and me to where I want to go, to where I want to ride. It's been to Vermont, it's been to Virginia, it's been to places all around Pennsylvania. But that's why I decided to put a little car repair in with a cycling show. Just to see that there's more to cycling than just cycling itself. So again, my name's Chris from the Old Man Cycling Show. If you like this video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and click that little bell so you get notified when I put new content up on the site. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it. Just a little fun to show there's things in my head other than cycling, but not many. But thanks again. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and talk to you next time. Thanks.